If you've been thinking about going to a silent meditation retreat as your first experience with meditation, watch this video first. So I've been meditating for about 25 years. I've had a daily meditation practice for over 20 of those years. So I'm not speaking as a meditation skeptic. I'm not anti-retreat. In fact, I've hosted dozens of my own meditation retreats. I'm not even anti-Vipassana. I love the idea of Vipassana. I'm just coming at this from the perspective of someone who spent decades actually meditating on a daily basis. And I want to share a few honest thoughts, especially if you're someone who's new to meditation and you've been thinking about going all in on one of those 10-day silent retreats as your starting point in the practice. So here are three, we'll call them red flags, that I want to walk you through up front. And then I'll share one more at the end that to me is really the most telling that this is probably not the best way to start your meditation practice. Okay, let's get into it. So first off, I want to admit I've never been to one of those 10-day silent meditation retreats. Now, you're probably wondering, Light, how are you going to give us your opinion on the silent retreat if you've never actually done it yourself? It's kind of like business. If you've been in business for a while and you've never owned a restaurant, you don't have to necessarily own a restaurant to know that restaurants are not the best type of businesses to start with. If you talk to a restaurateur, you ask them a few questions about profit margins and overhead, it becomes pretty apparent that most restaurateurs are struggling to keep the lights on. And like that, people who are operating at the higher levels of the meditation space can ask anyone a few questions about their practice, and they can pretty much know if it's a great way to start or if it's a not so great way to start. So regarding the silent retreats, the reason I've never done it is because I'm just not that curious about it based on what I have heard when I talk to my dozens of friends who have tried the experience. And if you're not familiar with how they work, here's the basic layout. So you go away, usually it's in a location that's pretty isolated. And again, it's 10 days. So day 1 to 10, you take a vow of what they call noble silence, where there's no talking, no eye contact, no phones, no journaling, no books, no music, no outside communication of any kind. Also, no blending of other meditation techniques. Even if you have a meditation technique that you feel is working for you, they don't want you blending that with what they're going to teach you. Then you wake up every day around 4 a.m. and you meditate for about 10 hours a day, and you have breaks. You eat twice a day. Once for breakfast, once for lunch. They're very simple vegetarian meals. And then you have tea around dinner time. There's no actual food for dinner. And the technique that they teach you starts with breath awareness for the first couple of days. And then that transitions into what they call body scanning. And that is the core of the Vipassana technique. You're not allowed to blend other techniques, as I said, because they want you to fully commit to their approach. And the whole thing is guided by a teacher, which is usually a lay practitioner. And you watch video discourses from the person who founded Vipassana in the evening. So it's pretty strict compared to other forms of meditation. It's very structured and it can be powerful for a lot of people. But again, that doesn't mean it's the best place to start. And here's why. Red flag number 1. This style of meditation historically is built mainly for monastic types or semi-monastic types of people. In other words, when you look around the room at these kinds of experiences and you see the people who are teaching and who are thriving at it the most, the people who are most locked in and focused and unbothered and who actually look forward to the silence, those people are usually the type of people who wear robes. Maybe they have shaved heads. In other words, they've adopted some sort of monastic type of lifestyle. It may not be full-blown monk, but it's definitely moving in that direction. And so that's one of the first concerns for me, because what that tells me is that in order to really excel at any practice, you're going to have to adopt the lifestyle of the people who are excelling at it the most. And so if you're in any room, whether it's at a silent retreat or not, and everyone in the room who's enjoying that practice the most is wearing a robe, that means at some point you're going to have to put on that robe if you want to continue enjoying the practice. That's just how it works in meditation. The problem is most of us don't want to wear robes because we're regular people. We like having a wardrobe. We have jobs, probably. We have families. We have recreational activities. Right? We live in the quotes real world, which means we're dealing with text messages, mortgages, emails, coworkers, in-laws, distractions, kids, soccer practice, the whole thing. And if a practice is optimized for someone who's not involved in the world to that degree, or they're not interested in having sex, or they're not interested in eating a variety of foods or wearing a variety of clothes, then it's probably not going to translate well to someone who's just trying to live their normal life. Now, could you still do the practice even though you're not interested in that lifestyle? Of course, you can do anything. But is there going to be tension and friction within the practice because you're not interested in the monastic lifestyle? 100%. And that's one of the things that makes the practice hard for a lot of people who start off at a Vipassana experience. It's kind of like if you want to get into better shape, you decide to go train at the Philadelphia Eagles football team training facility, right? And they say, cool, here's your plan. You're going to eat 12,000 calories a day. We're going to start at 6 a.m. sharp. We're going to train till 10, then take a break for ice baths and heat therapy. Then we're going to come back to the field, do drills for another 3 hours. Then we're going to scrimmage. And then we're going to come back tomorrow and we're going to start again. But then you're like, wait, I just got off the couch. I just want to get a little bit in shape. I have a desk job all day. I can't be here on the field running drills with you guys and scrimmaging. That's the physical fitness equivalent of a 10-day meditation retreat. It's not a beginner's program. This is full-blown NFL training, and monks are kind of like the championship athletes of meditation. So unless you're training to become a monk, then you're probably going to find that level of intensity a bit off-putting. Red flag number 2, a lot of people end up dropping out mid-retreat. This one is really important because at pretty much every retreat like this, you always hear stories about somebody leaving after day 2 or day 3 or day 4. They just can't take it. Maybe it's the silence, maybe it's the lack of stimulation, maybe it's the intensity or the emotions that start bubbling up, maybe it's the lack of food. And again, choo-choo. I'm not saying this to shame anyone or to hate on anyone. I'm saying this to highlight how extreme this particular structure actually is for regular people. Because if you're going in thinking to yourself, oh, this is just like a little vacation. I need to be off my phone anyway for 10 days. You're going to be in for quite the shock. Okay. This is not like sitting on a beach with your eyes closed with a mala bead in hand. This is 10 days of being completely alone with your thoughts, no writing anything down, no venting, no texting, no flirting, no distractions. It's really powerful for the monastic inclined person, but it's also overwhelming for a lot of regular people, especially if it's your first time. So the fact that a decent percentage of people don't make it to the end, to me, is a red flag. As you've seen from my work, I always say you want a meditation practice that you enjoy doing. If you don't enjoy doing it, you're probably not going to continue doing it. And so I would say the fact that people leave means that this practice is definitely not a fit for most people's lifestyles. Hey, if you've been knocking your head against the wall when it comes to daily meditation, falling off the wagon, getting back on, not quite sure if what you're doing is working, don't worry, I got you. For a limited time, I'm giving away my signature 7-day meditation kickstart for free to you, my Spiritual Perspective listeners. Plus, you'll get a free 2-week all-access pass to my entire Happiness Insiders online curriculum of challenges and masterclasses, which will provide you with a crystal clear roadmap for mastering your inner work. You'll also get support directly from me and accountability and a place to ask questions, and you can join me live for a meditation on each of your 2 free weeks. So with zero cost to you, you can get a daily meditation practice that you'll actually enjoy and look forward to doing for the rest of your life. And you'll have me to personally support you and hold you accountable. And after your 7-day meditation kickstart ends, you can start the 108-day meditation challenge and get even more support. And you can take as many other inner work challenges and masterclasses as you can fit into those 2 weeks. We have an unheard of 80% completion rate for our challenges, which is over 20 times higher than your average online course. So if you've been feeling stuck and inconsistent when it comes to your inner work practices, you will not find a better solution anywhere online. Go to thehappinessinsiders.com and let's get your meditation practice up and running today. That's thehappinessinsiders.com. And you can tell that nagging daily stress to kiss your ass. I'll put a link below in the description. Number 3, Vipassana retreats are billed as free meditation experiences. I would say that actually it's probably one of the most expensive ways to meditate. Technically, you don't have to pay money to attend the retreat. But let's be honest, you're not just spending money, you're also spending time. And to me, time is a more valuable cost than money. Think about it. This is 10 full days away from your job, away from your family, 10 days of not answering your phone, not checking your email, not handling stuff that comes up. If something breaks at home, you can't fix it. If someone needs you, you're not going to be available. And you may be thinking, that's fine. It's like a vacation. Okay. But let me ask you this. If I hired you to come and work with me for 10 full days where you leave your family, leave your life, leave your phone, no distractions, how much would you charge me? So whatever amount is in your mind right now, that's what it costs you to do this silent retreat. So it's not free. And at the end of the retreat, they hit you up for a donation, which is totally reasonable and fair because, again, they provided you with room and board and those 2 meals each day and the instruction. So I respect that. But let's not pretend like it's a free experience because it's not a free experience. There's always going to be an exchange. Now, the final red flag, and this is the one that I save for the end because it's the one that's really the most important to me. Because, again, I've talked to hundreds of people who've been on these experiences, and 99% of the time, most of those people who come back from a 10-day retreat don't stick with the meditation. Even if they complete all 10 days, even if they loved it, even if they felt like something cracked open inside of them, you ask them 6 months later, hey, how's your meditation going? Are you still doing your hour in the morning and hour in the evening every single day? Because that's the going home program for Vipassana. That's what they tell you you must do in order to continue benefiting from it. 99 times out of 100, people say, oh, I do a different technique now, or, oh, I don't have time to do a full 2 hours a day, so I cut it down to just 10 minutes, or I fell off, or I need to get back to it when I can, et cetera, et cetera. That is a huge red flag because the whole point of learning meditation is so that you can do it on your own. If you're not doing it on your own on a daily basis, then you're probably not going to get the benefits that meditation provides. And I'm not impressed by what people do on a retreat if it doesn't translate to daily practice once they get back home. If a meditation style only works in the woods with no responsibilities, then it's probably not going to serve you very well when you get back in traffic and with your screaming toddler and when you get back to those deadlines at work. Because meditation is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not supposed to be some intense, purifying detox. It's supposed to be a gentle, steady practice. I would go so far as to say it needs to be a practice that you look forward to doing. So it needs to feel delightful to some extent. And that's been my experience with meditation. That's why I've never really been interested in a 10-day retreat, because what I currently do feels so wonderful that I literally wake up in the morning and I'm excited to meditate. And so that's what I've been showing other people how to do over all these years, how to meditate in a way that actually feels enjoyable. And that's the secret to consistency, is enjoying the meditation so much that you literally wake up in the morning looking forward to sitting against your headboard with your eyes closed for about 10 or 15 minutes and going beyond your thinking mind. So those are the practices that stick, the ones that meet people exactly where they are, and the ones that you can do day in and day out, even when you're traveling, even when you're sick, even when somebody's visiting town, even when you have a really busy day. Not the ones that you have to convince yourself and twist your arm and force yourself to do. Not the ones that require you to restructure your whole life. So my honest take on silent retreats: if your goal is to become a monk, then great. Silent retreats might be the best first step for you. If your goal is to get away from your life for a bit, also valid reason, go for it. If your goal is to write a blog post about spiritual awakening and having a very intense experience to describe, this will give you plenty of material. But if your goal is to start a daily meditation practice that's sustainable and grounded and that actually works for your real life, your real busy life, then there are more simple, delightful practices to begin with that won't require more than 15 or 20 minutes once or twice a day, and then you can build from there. This is not a takedown. I'm not warning you about anything. It's just an honest reflection from someone who's been in the meditation space for a very long time. And if you've done a silent retreat and you feel differently, if it changed your life and you kept going, That's great. Again, that hasn't been the majority of the experiences I've heard, but I'd love to hear more about that in the comments. So let me know if I left anything out about the experience. And if you're wondering what I've been doing this practice called Vedic meditation for many, many years. I learned it back in 2003, and it completely changed my life. It reoriented my entire relationship with meditation. And I went from feeling like meditation was torture to feeling like meditation was this bubble bath that I did not want to come out of. So if you are a regular, everyday, busy person with lots of responsibilities, then I would say Vedic meditation is the practice for you. And I also offer a meditation kickstart as a part of my online community, which is called the Happiness Insiders. There's a 2-week free trial, which gives you access to the 7-day meditation kickstart, which effectively is free. You can start the trial and then you can take the kickstart and you can cancel it. And it gives you a kind of watered down version of the same principles that I have been teaching in my Vedic meditation trainings as well. So take advantage of that. And I wish you well in your meditation practice. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you resonated with this spiritual perspective and you want more, start by checking out this one. And otherwise, we've got an entire playlist of similar spiritual perspective videos. So make sure you're subscribed and please leave a comment letting me know which other topics you'd like for me to cover on this channel.